Welcome back to Gangs All Here, a Jets podcast from the New York Post. Jake Brown, Brian Costello here. Joining us in just a few minutes is the legendary Joe Benigno from WFAN, the Oh the Pain podcast, and looking ahead to Jets-Pats on Sunday at 1 o'clock, CBS, Jim Nantz, Tony Roma, the Jets 3-point underdogs. Kaz, can you believe it? The streak must end now. 14 in a row they've lost to the Pats. The last time they won was their last winning season in 2015, December 27th. The Patriots would tie the longest streak versus any opponent in franchise history with a win. The longest streak in NFL history is 20. Dolphins over the Bills. Kaz, this is a big one on Sunday.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a sloppy one, Jake. I think this is going to be defense dominated. I can't see either offense doing much. Patriots defense is good. Jets defense is good. Jets offense is bad. Patriots offense is bad. That sets up for a low scoring defensive affair. I think this is a statement game for the defense, Jake, right? Obviously, they did not have a good week in Dallas, but they're against a very good team. They need to bounce back now and show that they can dominate an offense that's not that good. Force some turnovers, give Zach Wilson a short field maybe for once to work with, get after Mac Jones. And then I think offensively, Jake, to me, it's, get Garrett Wilson involved, get Breece Hall involved. I'm going to go McCole Hardman too, lesser than those two, but can we do something with him this week? I think that's the recipe for the Jets right now is playing around Zach Wilson. But Jake, look, I think this game could go either way. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I'd be shocked if either team had a blowout. I think this is going to be close in the fourth quarter. I could see this go. I could see the Jets winning this game, but I need to see it to believe it. So I'm going to go Patriots 17-13 on a touchdown in the last 4 minutes, Jake, where they come through and break your heart again for the 15th time in a row.
Oh, I disagree because I think the defense is going to use what happened last week. They're going to use what they're doing on Twitter. They're going to use the losing streak as fuel to take down the Patriots. Zach Wilson needs to be mistake-free. He has been haunted by these Patriots. 3 interceptions last year, 4 interceptions the year before. If you remember, last year was the game where he didn't take any responsibility after the loss, and he was benched 3 days later for the first time in his career for Mike White. 9 for 22, 77 yards, 3 picks. That can't happen. Establish the run early. Any second, third, and shorts, hand the ball off. Let's see, like you said, a jet sweep, reverse. If Randall Cobb's your third quarterback, let's see a reverse with him. Let's see him throw the ball to Garrett Wilson if Zach Wilson can't do it effectively. So, this is going to be a real test for Nathaniel Hackett. And can he make adjustments with Zach Wilson? And can he get it right? The defense, like you said, Mac Jones put him down all day long. Miami did it last week. The Patriots have not looked good offensively, and Mac Jones is prone to turn the ball over. So the Jets need to force it. Sauce Gardner can't drop any picks. I am not confident this game will be a blowout. I think it's going to be tight, but it's going to be another one that comes down to a field goal. Now, is Zerline back this week, or is it still Seibert again?
It's up in the air. They're going to determine Friday whether he can play.
All right, so we'll see who the kicker is. But I think the kicker, as CeeDee Lamb, by the way, took a shot at that Jets defense saying, you can take all the time back there. You can do whatever you want. They need to use everything that happened as motivation. 2017, I don't know how they get to 20, but somehow, some way, I think they get a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown or a punt block. 2017, and the long streak, Kaz, comes to an end. 14 games, no more. And it signifies a new era. The Jets go to 2-1 before the Chiefs probably smack them down next week at MetLife.
Yeah, I was going to say, a new era. What does that mean?
A new era as in, listen, this is basically a must win. If you go 1-2 with the Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles ahead of you before the bye, I think it could get out of control in this team. Maybe your prediction does come true at 8-9. But if you win this game, the hope is still alive. Just beat this team, exercise your demons. Robert Saleh, you can argue this is the most important game in his era. You could also say, last year versus the Jaguars was, but it's always the latest game is the most important. So this one is the most important. And 2017 Jets win. Well, to break down the game and talk about the state of the Jets, Joe Benigno joins us next on Gangs All Here. Gangs All Here podcast. Jake Brown, Brian Costello, New York Post. Third time's the charm. We had to have him back on for another season. After a ugly loss in Dallas, as the Jets sit at 1-1, we bring back the immortal Joe Benigno. You can subscribe to his podcast, Oh, the Pain, of course. They drop it also twice a week. Joe, welcome back to the program. How's it going?
What's up, guys? I'd be better if, like as I mentioned before, if my team didn't get pushed around in Dallas on Sunday,
Yeah, you've been on this rocky roller coaster because you went on the fan after week 1 and you were in pretty good spirits. They won. You were confident Zach could maybe be a new player. Now, how are you feeling after week 2?
Well, I mean, look, it's not even about Zach being a new player. I mean, this loss to Dallas wasn't on him. This loss was on the defense. Defense got pushed around. Opening drive, they went right down the field for a touchdown. Jets get themselves back in the game. Zach actually makes a play to Garrett Wilson. It's 10-7. And then to me, the biggest play of the game is the future Deion Sanders combination, Darrelle Revis dropping a pick six that changes the game around, and then, he doesn't make that play. And then they go right down the field again for a touchdown. We get burned on another brutal roughing the passer call against John Franklin Myers. 2 more penalties, and before you know it, it's 18-7 in the game, 18-10. I guess it was 18-7 at that point. And basically the game is over. And that's it.
Joe, do you chalk this up and say Dallas is pretty good, right? If they put up 40 on the Giants, they look like they might be one of the better teams in the NFL. Do you say, okay, they got pushed around by maybe the best team in the NFL, or are you worried now that this defense might not be what everyone thought it could be?
Well, I think it's a combination of that. I mean, I think Dallas is really good. If you would have told me before the year, okay, we're going to, even with Rodgers, we're going to beat Buffalo, we'll lose to Dallas.
Right.
Okay, but now you got to come back and you got to win this week. I mean, this game, let's be honest about this game coming up, okay? And like I said, I'm kind of mixed. I'm a little worried that the defense, maybe read their press clippings a little bit from the Buffalo game, okay? But okay, Dallas is good, no question. I'm not saying they're not one of the. But so far, what I've seen in 2 weeks, it's them and the 49ers are the 2 best teams in the league. I mean, right so far.
Dolphins maybe in there too, but those maybe. 3, I think. Yeah.
Maybe. Yep. Let's be honest. The Dolphins beat the paper thin Chargers, and they, and we'll see what New England is. But this, look, this is probably the biggest game that Saleh has coached yet. If you lose to New England again, 14 straight times you've lost to them. They're 0-2. Bill's got his foot up his team's rear end for this game. You know how Bill is, okay?
Yeah.
You lose to them again, and this you're in trouble. You're looking at a 2-4 start to the bye, maybe even 1-5. Who knows? And the season spiraling back out of control again. So this is a game they have to have. And to me, this game is personal. I mean, if you're Robert Saleh, you got to take this game personal. You got to tell your team, hey man, we can't lose to this team again. They put 54 on Saleh 2 years ago. You know how Bill feels about it. Got to win this game. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about winning this football game Sunday.
I agree. I think it's a kind of have to win. It's hard to call it a must win this early, but for the sake of the team, the morale, it really is. And even Garrett Wilson has only been here a year. He called the losing streak unacceptable, and he said it's going to fuel him all week. So the question of will it fuel Zach enough to get the ball to him? Because Joe, I'm not all in here on Zach. I don't know if he could do enough here. He has a 4-interception game against the Pats, a 3-interception game against the Pats. Belichick's defenses have had his number the last 2 years, Joe. I don't know if he can do enough on Sunday.
Well, this game starts with the defense. I mean, let's start with that. I mean, we could talk about Zach. We know what Zach is. If this team is going to win, the defense has to be a dominant defensive football team, and they got to be able to run the ball. They got away from the run too much. I mean, you got to give Breece Hall the ball more than 4 times in the game. He did drop that one screen pass that he should have caught. But, to me, that's it. And here's the other thing, too, on the offensive side of the ball with Zach. Can we start, can they have designed runs for this guy? We know the kid can run. I watched Daniel Jones run. I watched Lamar Jackson run. I watched Josh Allen run. Can we start to see designed runs for this guy? We know the kid can run. Get him out of the pocket. He's never going to be a guy that's going to sit in the pocket and beat you. Get him the hell out of the pocket. and let's have some designed runs for Wilson. I mean, really, I don't get it. I mean, look, I don't know how good a coordinator Daniel Hackett is. I think he's an upgrade over LaFleur, but I mean, so far we'll see. But I think you got to start doing that with Zach. But this game starts with the defense. The defense has look. This is not Tom Brady here anymore. This is not Rob Gronkowski here anymore. They got to go in, and this defense has got to play a dominant football game. They got to take the football away. They have to take the ball away from New England, and it all starts with the defense in my mind.
Yeah, I think Joe, and I think the Patriots are probably saying the same thing, right? I think it's the same type of thing. I think this game is going to be in the teens. I think it's 17-13, somewhere in that area, right?
Right.
And so the defense is going to have to make sure you can win the game with 17 points, right? You got to go in thinking this offense isn't going to put up 3 or 4 touchdowns. So yeah, I think this is a huge statement for this defense now, because they've got punched in the mouth last week, and I didn't like all the 85 Bears talk. I said that at the time. I thought that was getting a little too ahead of yourselves with talking like that. But now that they got to go out and show it, and I'm with you, Joe. I think I wrote this today. If I'm Robert Saleh, I'm going into Hackett with the offense and saying, players, not plays. Right? I don't want you to be in some mad scientist scheming. Get the ball to Garrett Wilson. Get the ball to Breece Hall. Those are the two guys who every time they touch the ball, they can go 60 yards. That's what they need. And by the way, he's lesser than these other two, but can we get a play from McCole Hardman? Maybe like you give him $4 million. He's fast.
Right.
An end around, a jet sweep, just something. Get the ball in his hands and let him do something. The guy didn't play the first 3 quarters the other day. Didn't play the first game. I'm puzzled at what they're doing with McCole Hardman. So I'm with you. And the design runs, I think, in the past, I haven't asked this in a long time, but this has come up in the past, and they were always worried about him getting hurt because he's not as big as Daniel Jones, right? He's not as big as some of these guys, not as fast as Lamar Jackson. They're afraid he's going to take hits. At this point, I think you're right, Joe. I think you got to try anything with that. What do you expect from the Patriots, Joe? Because they're 0-2. Like you said, Belichick. Joe knows Belichick better than any of us from the overnights and Bill calling in. What do you expect? What do you expect the Patriots to be like this week?
No, they're going to be ready to play. I mean, this is that they're in desperation mode. I mean, they're sitting there at 0-2. You know how Bill feels about the Jets to begin with. So I mean, he's clearly going to have them ready to play. Above and beyond. So. There's no question. I mean, I expect a major effort from New England. I mean, of course, no doubt. How could I not?
What was your initial reaction when Rodgers goes down? Like, how demoralized were you? How long were you demoralized? What was the initial reaction?
I wasn't demoralized too long. I mean, I honestly, why am I surprised by this? I mean, I've watched this forever with my franchise. I watched Joe Namath get hurt in preseason and ended the season. Then. We saw Chad go down in the Giant preseason game. Sanchez go down in a Giant preseason game. The thing with Vinny, obviously. So nothing when it comes to my franchise surprises me here. Why should I be shocked? I'll say one thing. I think we got to look at this offensive line because let's talk about that too, because the offensive line has been brutal. All right. And I think it's time now to make some changes. Get Dwayne. Look, Mekhi Becton wants to play left tackle. Okay. So put him at left tackle. Get Brown out of there. Put AVT at right tackle. He played well there last year. Becton left tackle, AVT right tackle. And then let's get this kid Tippmann in there and either play him at center and move McGovern to guard or the other way around. Okay, that's what I would do. I know Tomlinson hasn't been too good either, but that's probably what I would do on the offensive line.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that after 2 games, but I think they need to start thinking about what they're going to do on the offensive line and changes like that. That's drastic to do that, and because you're talking about doing that in basically 2 days, right? They practice Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, walk through. Tough to do that. So, but like last year with AVT, when he ended up playing, what did he play first? He played right tackle first. They had been working on that for like 3 weeks. We just didn't know it. They had been over there working with him. So I think they need to start though cross training guys and making sure AVT gets some tackle snaps, and they need to start thinking about that at least. And Tippmann's one I think you can pull the trigger on now, Joe. And if I'm doing, I would put Tippmann in for Tomlinson right now.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Tippmann was pretty good in August before he got hurt. He was playing some guard when Tomlinson was hurt. Tomlinson, to me, like Dwayne Brown's coming off shoulder surgery, missed all of training camp. I still think he can turn it. He played the best football player in the NFL right now in Micah Parsons on Sunday. I think there's time where Brown could turn it around. I think you turn it around. Tomlinson, though, it's been a year and now 2 games where he's not been good. I would put Tippmann in for him, and that's one position. That's not that drastic a change. I think you could do that in a week. But I'm curious. I don't think they're going to do it. I just think they're slow to do stuff like this. But I'm curious. I mean, the other one, Joe, is Ruckert, Jeremy Ruckert. You know, I would play him. I would get him more. CJ Uzama.
Right. He's a terrific blocker. Rucker's a really good
terrific blocker.
He's like having another tackle there, you know?
Exactly. So you go 2 tight ends, you put Ruckert in there, and he's blocking. Uzama can't block. So, you know, you're losing out with him on the field. That'd be the other change I'd make offensively. You know, what did you think, Joe, of Brees being upset after the game? You have any issue with him going public with that?
Well, I think this goes down. Look, I like the coach as a person. You know, I got a little bit of a relationship with Saleh. Okay. You know, I'm texting with him an hour after the game on Sunday. I mean, you can't make it up, but whatever.
We love that.
It amazes me that this is going on.
Can you relay what the text was? What did you say?
Well, I mean, I've been, you know, I mean, Monday too. I mean, we had a lot of discussion about how personal this game is coming up and how big a game this is for him. I mean, you know, he's got to win this game. You know, the jury's still out on the coach. I mean, right now, you know, the jury's out on the coach, and we're leaning more toward the negative side than the positive side. I mean, let's be honest about it. As much as
he's won 12 games, he's won 12 games in 3 years. That's the bottom line. Yeah,
that's the bottom. Right. No question.
He's won 3 more games than Adam Gase.
Right. That's right. So the jury's clearly still out on this guy. You know, and you know, I just want to try to emphasize the point. I mean, how big this is. This is personal now. With 14 straight losses to Belichick, he hates the franchise. He's dominated us for 20 plus years now. You know, you got to take this game personal. This team has to take this freaking game personal as far as I'm concerned. You know, what else can I say? I mean, this is a monster game for the head coach. I mean, it really is. He's got to step up, and I think he's too nice of a guy. I think that's still a problem with him. And you can't have Breece Hall, you know, going on Twitter after the game, you know, complaining, I only got 4 carries. I mean, you know, this is, to me, that's the coach has got to take control of that. He really does.
And they probably, you know, Sauce kind of went off about a tweet that had a stat that wasn't actually true, but he got mad and they didn't have him shadowing CeeDee Lamb. Did you think that was a mistake, not having him follow Lamb around?
Of course. Darrelle Revis would say, look, give me the best guy. Revis would just go out there and say, give me CeeDee Lamb, leave me, and I'll take care of it. Okay. And that's what I need Sauce to do. It'd be nice if he caught the ball too. Okay. You know, Sauce, you got to, you know, you want to be a great quarterback. You can't, I mean, I've seen this. See, this is the thing that gets me too. I've watched this forever with the Jet defenses. No pass rush. Okay. Right. Missed tackles. Turnovers out there to be had. They had that fumble when he stripped CeeDee Lamb, Sauce, and there's 4 Jets around, and of course
the center recovers it
with one hand. No, he got it with one hand, Brian. How do you do that?
30 yards, the center 30 yards downfield, amazing.
Right? How many times have I seen this with this franchise? The turnovers are there to be had, and they don't come up with the ball. The drop pass by Sauce. So look, these guys got to stay off Twitter. And to me, that's the coach. The coach has got to put his foot up their rear end. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I hate to compare everything to Belichick, right? I hate I hate to do that. But you do say to yourself, would the Patriots do this? Like, would the Patriots have said they're going to be 85 Bears? Like, you know, and I've had this argument personally with Saleh. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like they were thumbing their nose at the football gods a little bit by doing that and tempting it. And look,
the first game, Monday, the game against Buffalo, they played like that. The game against Buffalo was an 85 Bears type game. They forced 4 turnovers. They sacked the quarterback 5 times. That know, okay. And then they basically just, like you said, you get pushed around in Dallas. You know. Yeah,
the Sauce following Lamb conversation is an interesting one, right? Because I covered the Revis Jets, and there was a debate. This is like 2012-ish of Revis versus Richard Sherman, right? And Revis used to get mad. He used to get really mad if he got compared to Richard Sherman because he'd say that guy doesn't cover the best receiver every week. I do, and because that's the Seattle system. The Seattle system is zone. You have this side. DJ Reed has this side. Sauce has this side. And they don't really follow. that'd be Saleh's argument, I think. It's like we don't play man-to-man like Rex did, so he couldn't follow. I will say, though, I've seen them do it. They did it last year with Sauce against the Ravens. He followed Mark Andrews a little bit. It wasn't every time, but they when they got in the red zone, they went man-to-man. He covered Mark Andrews. I thought CeeDee Lamb, it wasn't like CeeDee Lamb had this like dynamic, was like wide open deep and stuff. He just seemed to find holes in their zone all day long. And that was troubling that they couldn't adjust to that and figure out how to take it away from him. So yeah, I don't know. You question whether they're a little too rigid with their system sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think you got to be a little more seat of the pants. I think you really do. And sometimes, it's like scripting 15 plays on offense. That makes me crazy too. Bill Walsh is not coaching anymore. Okay.
Right.
And you got all these coordinators that do it. And, come on. I mean, it makes no sense to me. Yeah.
The other change I'll give you. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I just want to comment about one thing on last week on the offense too. And we've seen this all the time with the Jets too. They get that fake punt, they get the first down. Great move. Okay, great. I loved it. Okay. We saw Campbell do it against Kansas City in the opening game, right? They get 9 yards from Brees on first down and 2nd and 1. Give the ball to Brees again and get the damn first down. Don't be throwing the ball. It makes me nuts. And they all do it. 2nd and 1, he's got Wilson rolling out and throwing a freaking pass. What are you doing? And then on 3rd and 1, they try a quarterback sneak. They don't even get close. You get 9 yards running on first down. Run the ball again. And that stuff makes me crazy, Brian. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. The other one on defense I'll give you where I think they're too rigid. They love this defensive line rotation.
Right.
Constantly rotating guys, keeping guys fresh. Quinn Williams, let him play. Just let him play. If you want to rotate the other 3 guys, go ahead all day long. Unless Quinnen is raising his hand saying, I'm tired, he should be on the damn field because you put Al Woods out there, who's a very large man, good against the run. He's nothing against the pass. You're dead. You're dead. So I just feel like this rotation they're in love with. Like Quinnen is too good a player I think he played 70% of the snaps, which is higher than he has been playing, but I don't know. I'd have him out there more.
Yeah, no, you're look, he's one of the premier defensive tackles in football. He should be playing all the time.
Play him.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else too. How overrated is CJ Mosley? To me, one of the most he's so overrated.
I don't agree with you.
Never makes an impact play. He's great for tackling guys 8 yards downfield. Look, he's great for that. Never makes a play ever, this guy. Ever. And he makes the Pro Bowl. What? Quincy Williams is 10 times better than freaking CJ Mosley.
No. Quincy Williams hits people hard, but he misses a lot of tackles. CJ's just a solid, reliable inside linebacker. Pro Bowl you could debate, but he's just solid. Like, yes, is he flashy? No, but he doesn't miss tackles. He's a solid guy in the middle.
Yeah, he's good making those 10-yard tackles 10 yards downfield. He's great. Go ahead.
Did have a lot of tackles. What do you have? 158 last year or something like that.
Okay.
Circling back
did he sack the quarterback? He had one turnover all year in the Bear game. He actually got an interception. I couldn't believe it when he did. But anyway.
Circling back to the offense, Joe, quarterback. Do you want to make a trade if Zach struggles here for a quarterback? Do you go for like a Cooper Rush, a Jacoby Brissett by the trade deadline? Do you sign a Wentz? Like, I feel like you're going to have to add a quarterback. You can't have him and Tim Boyle.
No, I think they got to sign a veteran guy. I mean, none of those guys do I like. I mean, look,
Winston.
Look, you're not getting Wentz is terrible. You're getting garbage. No matter what you get. I mean, what are you getting? Matt Ryan at 150 years old. Phillip Rivers the same. I mean, what are we getting here? So, look, I look at this. Here's how I am now with this year. Okay, I still think that they can make the playoffs this year. With the defense, the running game, I don't say it's not possible. I think they could. I mean, I don't really even rule out a division championship. Okay, forget the Super Bowl, but I can still see them winning 9, 10, who knows, maybe 11 games if the defense is that good. Okay, it all starts with that, right? But I look at this year too as this is it for Zach. Okay, if Zach doesn't at least show you something this year, well, he's done here. That's it. Rodgers will be the quarterback again next year because he's not going out like this. I mean, clearly he'll be back. I mean, what he'll be, I don't know, but he'll be back. And then you got to draft a quarterback next year. You have to. You have to.
What was your thoughts when you saw Kaz's 8-win prediction for the season?
I was not happy. I mean, look, I'm not surprised. Look, the guys in the media, this guys like Brian, guys like Samini, these guys, they really and no due respect, Brian, they really don't want to see the Jets win. I mean, it's a bet. How much better a story is it if the Jets go 8-9? And this is with
Are you
Rodgers
kidding
healthy.
me? Are you kidding me? 8-9. I'll give you.
How could
I'll
I
give
think
you.
anything else? You're going 8-9.
My prediction doesn't. My prediction doesn't dictate anything. The ultimate Jets story is them winning the Super Bowl. How many people would read that story? That's what you want, Joe. Right?
Well,
that's what I want. That's what
necessarily if the media wants that, you know.
But look, Joe. All right, so we're all for clicks, right? That's all everybody says.
Right.
If the Jets stink, I don't get. People don't read my stories like diehard Jets fans do. Casual fans don't.
Right.
With Rodgers,
I do read you, Brian. I do.
I appreciate it, Joe. Yeah, but the diehards are read. But if they're the worst thing is always what it used to be. We used to say 8-8, right? That was always the worst season you could have if you're a reporter, because there's no winning and there's no real drama, right? Because if you win 2 or 3 games, 4 games, you're talking about who gets fired, that kind of stuff. 8-9 is about as bad as it can get. Now with Rodgers, like it would have been a little bit different, but I've explained this on this podcast. I did not think this defense was as good as everyone thought it was. It was. I think I expected a big step back from last year. They played 6 backup quarterbacks last year. That contributed to why they thought they were so great. I thought the offense with Rodgers would take a while to hit its groove because they didn't practice together all training camp.
Right.
Major concerns about the offensive line, which have borne out these first couple weeks.
Right.
Yeah. So and then I figured they're the Jets. Something's going to go wrong.
That's it. Right.
so I didn't think it was going to be 4 plays into the season, but my friend Jake here picked them to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that was just out of fandom. I said 10 wins. I said 10
wins. You picked them to win the Super Bowl.
Jake, I would never pick them to win it. Look, there's so much bad karma that surrounds this team. I mean,
Joe, let me give you the sentence he said.
Go ahead. What?
If everything goes right for the Jets,
and it went wrong,
they can win the Super Bowl.
Right.
What is everything done right for the Jets?
Yeah, never.
68.
And the other thing too, I mean, and even like getting the calls. See, that's another thing that worries me this week is, are we going to get hosed again? Last year's game, and I could still see Michael Carter running down the sidelines, and that changed the whole season. That roughing the passer, that bogus call last year in the Patriot game at home on Franklin Myers changed the whole season. They would have won that game. Carter's running for an 80-yard touchdown, and it's a different story. So I'm concerned. They never get calls, and they get hosed on calls. And this, I'm concerned about that. We haven't had a roughing the passer. I think Richard Todd was the quarterback the last time we got a roughing the passer call. I mean, let's be honest about
and they should have got one in week 1. That was a roughing the passer. Milano hit Zach. That was roughing the passer.
By the way, when they play Buffalo again, there should be a hit on Milano. Get this guy. He's such a freaking cheap shot on. He's good, but he's a cheap shot on.
He's a good player.
Cheap shot on.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to JFM in the locker room. He was careful what he said, but he said he asked the referee afterwards, and he said the referee said I hit him below the knee. And he's like, I don't think I hit him below the knee, and he's like, he hadn't seen the replay. He didn't, and I watched it, and his momentum was he was just kind of falling into him. I'm not sure what he's supposed to do there. If you're the coach, what do you tell him?
He got him
in the thigh,
in the waist area.
The thigh, the thigh. Yeah. No, we all. This rule's in place because Tom Brady got hurt in week 1 in 2008, right? That's why they made that rule.
Right.
And you can envision Tom Brady getting hit that day. The guy hit him in the shin hard. If you're going to torpedo a guy's, lower leg, that you can argue whether that's penalty. That's the rule, but that wasn't what this was. And even Clemens wasn't a big deal. It was it was on the extra. It just resulted in the extra point
out of it. It turned out to be a big deal because they went for 2 and they got it.
But they won by 20. So but he just kind of landed on the guy. I don't know what these defensive guys are supposed to do. It's like
well, you know what they need to do. I really think this, and they need to make roughing the passer reviewable. They need to do that. They need to look at the roughing the passes again on the replay. They really look. That's the one penalty they had that one year with the pass interference review. That was ridiculous. Forget it. But roughing the passer to me is a different story. That should be a reviewable play.
It's fair. That's fair.
Fire the Jets fans up, Joe. Do the Jets win Sunday? What's the score?
I don't feel good about it. I can't. I can't feel good about it until they beat this team. Until they finally stick it up this team's rear end, How can I feel confident? I can't. You know, I'm scared. You know what? Of this game. I really am, and I'm telling you, if they don't win this game, they're in big trouble. They are in major. We're looking at a 5-6 win season in my mind. If they don't win Sunday,
All right.
that's
So
how
how
big
did you?
this game is.
Yeah, how did you develop the relationship with Belichick? Because like he used to come on
How
with you.
Belichick and I now are on. Forget it with him. I'm not. Now it's personal with me and
You're
Bill
on.
too.
Okay.
Because he hates my team. You know, he wouldn't even come last year when I retired a couple of years. Last year, it's like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I retired from full time FAN,
Yeah.
we tried to get Bill on those last couple of weeks, and Bill wouldn't come on. You know, even just and we weren't. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, I know the guy for a long time. I mean, Bill, you can't come on. Why? Because I'm a big Jet guy. It's like I'm part of the team. I don't know what you look at me as, but whatever. Right. But how it started was when he was with Parcells in New England. Okay, he used to listen to me when I was doing the overnights. He used to be able to get me loud and clear.
Yeah,
right.
The signal 660.
Right, loud and clear up there. So when Bill came to the Jets, when Parcells came to the Jets and Belichick came with him, the word came down. I forget who got in touch with me. It might have been Serby. It might have been him. Hey, look, Bill Belichick wants to meet you. He listens to you all the time on the overnight. He thinks you really know what you're talking about, whatever, I guess. And that's how it started. I went out to Hofstra. I met Belichick. I went out there a couple other times. There was actually a time I went out there and watched game film with him one time. And he also, we had right before their playoff game. How does you think too? When they beat Buffalo to win the division in '98, I actually got a phone call after the game from Belichick, saying, how do you feel? Whatever. I mean, he couldn't have been nicer to me. And then I had dinner the following week at what's the big steakhouse in the city? In
Del Frisco's?
Not Del Frisco's. Not Del
Luger's?
Like Luger's, Peter Luger's, right. It was me. This is a week before the playoff game against Jacksonville. It was me, Mike Tannenbaum, Belichick, Bears Najarian, and Dave Jennings, right? Having dinner at Peter Luger's in Long Island like a week before the playoff game. And Belichick gave me 4 tickets to the game as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and I had him on a few times. We did a show. What was it? Was it 04? I guess it was 04. Yeah, because the Red Sox won the World Series. They won the World Series that year too. We played them up there on a Sunday. We were both undefeated. I think we were both 5-0, and New England beat us. And I wound up doing my show. I was doing the overnight at the time. I did the show from Foxborough, right up in the press box, like the overnight show after the 1 o'clock in the morning. And Belichick actually came on with me 5 o'clock in the morning after that game.
Wow.
And
I remember a time. Yeah. I remember a time, Jake, when I used to go on with Joe and Evan all the time. Bill was on at noon, and I was on at 12:20. And I gave Joe's a big music fan. I gave him this line. I said, "This is like the time Jimi Hendrix opened up for the Monkees."
Right.
Me following Bill Belichick was not quite.
Bruce Springsteen opening up for Chicago. I was actually at that. That was, by the way, that was the only time Springsteen ever opened for anybody, and I happened to be there. Madison Square Garden, July 1972 for Chicago, and we basically booed Springsteen off the stage. To be honest with you, who knew? Who knew? Right, Brian? Who knew?
There you go.
It's a good. I was going to transition from there perfectly. Both times you've come on the show, you have sang for us. You did. I'm so glad, and you did. I think you did "Fly Me to the Moon" or something. I forgot what the first one was.
One of the Sinatra things.
Do you have a Springsteen for us? Do you got something for us?
I'm down on Springsteen. I really am. I got a few issues with him, and I know he's sick now, but I got a few issues. I think he's overrated too, to be honest with you. So I couldn't begin.
Oh, you're killing me, Joe. Bruce,
Billy Joel's better than Bruce. Billy Joel's
I think there's a lot of guys that are way ahead of Bruce, but everybody gets delirious over Bruce, and I think Bruce kind of forgot where he came from a little bit, so I'm a little down on him.
Wow. All right, so we're getting no Jets-Patriots themed song here.
No, I have no, no. I'm not singing today. I'm not in a singing mode today. I sing a lot though. Let me just tell you this: when I do the podcast on Monday and Friday, when I'm warming up for the show, I always sing prior to that. I don't put it out there, but I do.
All right, the extended.
I don't know if I can sing, but I do. And by the way, let me throw this in there too. My birthday is coming up this coming Tuesday, and I will be freaking 70. And if there's one, oh my God, it's painful. I mean, there's no go when you hit 70, Brian. There's no going back. You're old. That's it. You know, you're old. You can't. There's
It's
no
official.
sugarcoating.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. There's
yeah.
no sugarcoating.
I'll tell you
And
this
I
though,
mentioned
Joe.
this. Yeah, I'm just sorry. Let me just say this. I mentioned this to the coach. I said, Coach, the only thing I want for my birthday is to beat the goddamn Patriots on Sunday. Okay? Can we do that, please?
Yep. My mother's 86, Joe, and she lives in a she has an apartment in a over 55 community. But
Okay.
she talks about the younger people, like the people who are 70 that are at the community. So there's always somebody that's older than you, Joe.
No, I get that. No, I understand that, but it's you know what, 50 wasn't bad, 60, but this is a hard number to deal with, Brian. I'll tell you that. You know,
Will you be at the game Sunday, Joe?
no, I'm not going Sunday. I'm going to the Chief game. I'll be at the game against Kansas City. I'll be in my lab here watching the game Sunday afternoon. Supposed
You
to be
ever
funny
miss?
weather too. I think it's supposed to rain Sunday too.
Yeah, there's a chance of rain. You ever miss radio full time? I feel like the podcast fills your time, and you still do it part time.
I
miss
miss
it?
radio full time. Probably not. I don't think I really miss it full time, to be honest with you. I don't know if I could. You know, I did a lot of filling in the summer, you know, which was pretty cool. I don't know if I could do the grind, the commute every day to the city anymore. You know, I did it for 30 years, whatever I did it. I mean, I wonder, sometimes I look back now and I wonder how I did some of the stuff I did, to be very honest with you. You know, I did TV for like 7 years too on SNY. So I don't know how I did that every day sometimes, but I really don't miss doing it every day. No, I don't.
Well, I mean, a lot has changed. I'm sure you just heard 98.7 just got rid of their FM signal, or they're getting rid of it. So that's the radio business has changed. Yeah. So they're only doing 1050 and then digital. So
look,
a lot has changed.
FAN's not the same. I mean, look, it'll never be what it once was. Never.
You don't listen anymore?
I never listened when I was on, to be honest with you. No, I really don't. You know, I when I go on, I'm doing a spot every Monday or after every Jet, you know, the day after every Jet game with Evan and Tiki. I go on with them at 4:00. You know, I got my Saturday show still, you know, 10 to 1 Saturday mornings, which is cool. It's kind of, you know, I always thought that was the best show ever when Russo did it by himself. So I kind of feel honored to have that spot now. Evan did it for a lot of years. But as far as, you know, full time, yeah, I don't think I could do the grind anymore, you know, of the commute. It'd be too much now.
Well, Joe, the podcast is Oh the Pain. You catch up Saturday mornings on the Fan and guest spots Mondays with Evan and Tiki. Happy early birthday, and let's get a Jets victory on Sunday to celebrate your birthday. Thanks for coming on. Gang's all here.
This is a big one. Brian, I'm sure, by the way, before I leave, I'm sure you're picking the Pats, right? The Patriots are even favored. Yeah. They're 2-point favorite. I mean, if that's not a slap in the face, I mean, come on.
I know.
I mean, there's so much fodder for Saleh for this game. It's unbelievable. Really,
there is. Yeah, I'll probably pick the Pats. I'm with same reasoning though as you, Joe.
Yeah,
I need to see it. I need to see it. Yeah. It's hard for me to say, oh yeah, they're going to beat the Patriots.
Course, Brian. I can't even say it. Yeah. I mean, I can't even say it. No, until they finally beat this freaking team, how am I going to think anything else?
Yeah, and I remember last year thinking when that home game they'd won 4 in a row, coming in there thinking, you know, that was the one. Like that was a good chance.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Joe. Appreciate you coming on.
Joe, thank you.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. All the love.
Have a good birthday, Joe.
Yeah, we'll try. Hopefully, we'll see.
The great Joe Benigno. Always fun having him on. I'm pretty sure he is our most viewed YouTube video in the history of our podcast, if I'm not mistaken. We'd have to check, but he's up there. So Joe always brings the heat, always keeps it real, and a happy 70th birthday to Joe Benigno. We definitely miss him at the Fan. You know, he's there, and he's right. You know, the Fan is definitely not the same without him, without Francesa, without Carton. A lot has changed at the Fan. Is that says goodnight to us here at Gangs All Here, episode 150, our Jets podcast from the New York Post. Thanks to Andrew Hartz for helping me in producing the show. Catch up on all episodes you may have missed. Subscribe to Gangs All Here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and write in a positive review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate it, as that boosts us up those charts. And if you want to watch us, almost just had a stroke. Subscribe to the New York Post Sports YouTube page and watch full uncut episodes there and clips. Give us a thumbs up below. Comment below. What are your predictions for the big game? Do the Jets win? Do the Pats keep the streak going? This is big for the Jets. Just the mindset of beating the Patriots and getting over that hump. Think about it. The last time they beat them was a year they just missed out on the playoffs and were a winning team. Maybe a win signifies, hey, we're going to be a winning team this year. We got over that hump. The Patriots are not good. They have a solid defense, but they're not a very good team. These are games you have to win. In fact, you got to beat the Pats twice. You got to go to Foxborough later and beat them. You got to beat these teams twice. You beat Buffalo once. You got to beat Miami at least once. And you got to beat the worst team in the division, which is the Patriots, twice. So exercise your demons and stop them from winning. It's Mac Jones. He's not good. Ramondre Stevenson. Zeke knows the stadium well, but Zeke is their back. Go win the game. And follow me on Twitter at Jake Brown Radio. Follow Kaz at Brian Kaz. Kaz and I will be back with a post-game show. First thing, 5 a.m. It'll drop on Monday morning. We'll record it Sunday night. Hopefully after a Jets victory. 2017. Either that or like a 17-13. But I'll say 2017 Jets. And enjoy the game, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday. Thanks for listening to Gangs All Here.